Hi. So much for being a professional. Let me try that intro.
Moon sun's glowing, the city's alive. Clock strikes 12, we're ready to dive down the street where the neon hums. Our little escape, the workday succumbs. Tables wait, the bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Well, hello again. Va salud. Yes, I encourage you to laugh at me. I am laughing at myself. It was a weird morning today, and I was editing right up until we went live. I hope it was worth it. We'll see. It did cause me to mess up my opening, but what can you do about that? We just move on, right? 'Cause WTF? What the F Wednesday? Did see an article saying that YouTube is changing their the way they rate profanity within the first few minutes of a show, but that does not mean that I am going to return to the strong, saucy language. I am trying to do better because Lady Julie has called me out, as well as my own wife, and I really do need to make this as family friendly as reasonably possible for a drunk guy who babbles on YouTube in the middle of the day. Let's say hi to everyone who is coming out here to encourage me and support me and share their lunch with me today, starting with Big Al of Big Al Presents, who says, and this is very important, everybody, just made it back from the doctor in time for the show. Blood work scores great, and BP 130/80. Have a fantastic show, my friends. Thank you so much, Big Al. You take care of yourself, because as Doomcock says, we need you. Mark Melnikoff. Merpo. Yes, it is lunchtime. WTF, it's Wednesday. It's going to rain. My joints tell me so. It has been raining hard over here, just a little bit north of where you're at, Mark. And it has let up a bit, but it's still pretty dark out there. Kind of gloomy. Kind of how I like it, though, to be honest with you. Matanui. Hi. Good to see you, my friend. Always, always good to see you. Sailor Outlaw George Ishak says, hello, Troy and the chat. Welcome, Sailor Outlaw. I haven't seen you in a bit. Glad you are here. I am also glad that Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube, fluff trick chick. Let's try that again. Fluff Chick Productions. Welcome, Connie. Good to see you. Netter says, last call with Troy Pacelli. Hello, love of my life. Thank you, my dear. Let's celebrate that tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment. Yes, those things are all so, so important. Geek Flag with Nate Knows, 1973 for $2 says, salutations, my brother from another mother. Thank you so much. I got your well wishes that I will convert into an audio file for tomorrow's Thursday things. That was very, very kind of you, my friend. Your thoughts were very, very encouraging. He also says, like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member. Yes, please do all those YouTube things. It is so, so important, now more than ever. And let me say, in the first 10 minutes of the show, Booger! Hey, Booger, good to see you. Watching from work, so only drinking unleaded, and may not be as active in the chat. That's perfectly fine. I appreciate that you took the time to say hi and you didn't just lurk, watch, and not say anything. Because those comments make a big deal of difference in the algorithms. As I said, now more than ever, this whole engagement thing is crucial. You are welcome to lurk if that's how you feel you must do. But the comments really, really do help out. If nothing else, it encourages me to know that you're there and that you're here supporting me. Really, really do appreciate it. I am not even rating in my XP. Well, I have yet to figure out exactly how the XP works. But, you know, if you do all the things like the folks say, like smash the like button, enjoy the show, leave a comment, and although I am not stumping for you to spend your hard-earned money, you know, those super chats and super stickers and super thanks also apparently, from what I'm hearing, earn you some XP too. All that XP is bragging rights. This is how big a fan I was in this stream. This is how much I supported with my comments and so forth. On my phone, which for some reason doesn't let me at people. I am finding out more and more every day the limitations of these mobile devices. I don't use them for watching YouTube videos and streaming and stuff like that. So I use my phone for making phone calls and occasionally texts when I can't actually talk. Joe says, hi, everybody. Hi, Joe. Good to see you, my friend. Always wonderful to see you there. Making profanity more or less permissible. See, yeah, that was the thing. I don't think YouTube really cares about the profanity. What they care about is whether or not they can monetize your stream. And up until now, you use no words, and you get the little yellow. Yeah, you're limited in how much ad revenue you can get because we don't think people want to support this. And it sounds like the feedback that YouTube is getting is no. We, channels, just because they swear doesn't necessarily mean we don't want to, run ads on them. People that use curse words have money too. So it does seem they're lightening that up a bit. But I also think that there is going to come a time when there might be a greater amount of regulation that YouTube has no say in. I do foresee a time when the FCC steps in and starts doing some regulating. We'll see. We will see. Hello, Sin's Corner. Yes, thank you so much for being here. She is a great movie reviewer, even though I don't always 100% of the time agree with her. I enjoy the heck out of her content, even the stuff I disagree with. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clip says, hi. Hi, Wade. Good to see you, my friend. Geek Flag with Nate Knows says, YouTube also have to change that policy about engagements and what counts as a view, because people who watch the YouTube on TV, and these are a lot, they cannot leave a comment. Yes, I have heard that about the people that watch it on the TV. Although I'm not really technically savvy enough to fully understand the watching on TV, because I watch YouTube on my PC and my PC is hooked up to my TV, so I broadcast what I watch onto my television. So anything I can do on my PC, it's one and the same. But my understanding is you guys are using some sort of a streaming service on your TV that brings in the YouTube or something. I don't know really how that works. Don't really know how that works. Joe's Atmosphere for $2. Thank you so much. Let the cocktails flow. Hail Liquid Lunch. Hail Joe's Atmosphere. Always sharing out my streams. That's, everybody has their talents, right? Like Lynn Green comes back and leaves all kinds of not just comments on videos, but like whole conversations with me on videos. Connie Cleary is great about always at least coming back and saying thank you and thereby leaving a comment on videos. Joe's Atmosphere is great with sharing out the streams. He shares like crazy. Now, Netter does all the things because she's like my number one cheerleader, so, that's to be expected. Servalan's death had no honor. Mark, of course, is referring to last night's season 3 finale of Blake 7, where Servalan got dead, and I think he's a little miffed about that. But let's be honest, Servalan herself did not have honor. She was the villain, my friend. Just pointing that out. Just because she was attractive doesn't mean that she wasn't the villain. In fact, the most insidious villains come in the guise of friendship, looking attractive. Lucifer was the most beautiful of the angels. Matanui says the downside of the swearing thing is they are going to be psychoanalyzing you with an AI to make sure that you're an adult. Well, but at the same time, that might indicate that I'm an adult because I'm using adult language, right? And talking about adult topics. Yeah, I saw that thing about AI evaluating channels to see if they are minors that are doing and they're doing it in the guise of protecting the children. And won't someone please think of the children, is usually how the major censorship starts happening. My concern is channels that get pegged as children's channels when they're not, because you immediately lose all ad revenue. You immediately lose all ability to comment on videos. There will be no engagement. That's where the real problem with the whole engagement thing comes, is any channels that are putting out content for kids. There is no incentivization to put out content for children on YouTube, which will drive children and their families away from YouTube. It's going to hurt YouTube in the long run. They really need to think through what their goal is on YouTube and then be clear about it and go after it. Really. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Now, his strong suit is putting out content. I made 47 videos. Soon off to vacation on Monday. See, that's what he does. He front loads. He makes all of his content in advance so that he can take a vacation, and he is still being active on the channel. That's really, really good. Inflation means greed. Lunchtime at work, eating an apple. How's everyone doing? I am a bit under the weather, but I am doing so much better because all of you are here. Troy, the only problem Troy has making it less worthy, because there are so many good things I can say about you and Netters. Speaking of which, that's actually a really good segue into something. Please check out the description below. I have a link to a video I would very much appreciate if every one of you would go to and check out. Let me actually read from my description. Please go watch this video specifically, and then I put in a link. Like it, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. She said such wonderful things about me and my channel, and by extension all of you, in this video. So let's show her all the love, and let's get her the watch hours to get monetized. I am, of course, talking about a channel I've talked about a number of times on this channel. That's Flow with Jess. Very different channel, but I like her channel, and if I like it, I'm guessing most of you will probably like it as well. But she said some really incredibly nice things about me and this channel in her video, and it really got to me, man. I was literally going WTF. You know, one of the things she said was how professional I am and how professional this channel is, and I'm like, girl, what channel are you watching? Seriously. But when I did start thinking about it seriously, it made me feel like a fraud. You know, like, she's calling me professional? Seriously? I didn't know what to make of that. And I knew she was being genuine. She wasn't just blowing smoke up my bum. I mean, she really means what she's saying, because that's just who she is. She's just a genuine person, and I was just, man, I got to do better. I got to earn that. I really got to earn that. What's everybody's favorite motion picture soundtrack? Oh, that is a conversation for a Tuesday, I think. Inflation. Probably not as much a WTF type of thing. But I've got my opinions about soundtracks. And also, are we talking about soundtracks or are we talking about scores? Because if you think back, for example, to a great example for the difference between the two is Batman 89, which got 2 soundtrack albums. One was the score, and the other was all the songs by Prince that were done for the movie. So I have talked about this on Geeky Geezers and the Saturday Night Rewatches and so forth. Even some of the last calls that I've done about, you know, movies of the 80s and stuff like that. I miss the song soundtracks. You know, things like Dirty Dancing and Flashdance and Footloose and let's face it, really, those are ones that were very music focused, but because of the nature of the story. But then things like like Rocky 3 and Karate Kid, you know, a lot of these types of movies, especially the one Vision Quest, right? You know, films that had workout montages and stuff like that with great, you know, song soundtracks and usually a love song. And we just recently watched St. Elmo's Fire on one of the members' nights at the movies. Really, really great musical soundtracks. And they don't do those kinds of. They now pick songs from the pop charts that are mediocre songs. Whereas there used to be this great synergy between the soundtrack and the movies, and you'd hear these songs on the radio, and then you'd want to see the movie. I miss it. Oh, it's a mutual admiration society, if we're honest, and that's the way it should be. Together we grow. A rising tide raises all ships. Produce my shows on my phone. I have to learn from you then, Joe, because I don't do anything on my phone and I don't know how. Make all the videos and graphics with several apps on my phone. Inking and coloring my comic on my iPad. Great creative tech. I am just not connected to that kind of technology. I was unaware that kind of stuff could be done on phones. Watching you on TV, chatting on my phone. Oh, see, that's how it's done. But see, yeah, you got to combine your what you're using. Went to the movies Monday and Tuesday. Watch Sketch, an Angel Studios film. Hadn't heard about Sketch. And Jurassic World Rebirth. Yeah, I know that just about everything coming out of Angel Studios has been really, really good. We have YouTube TVs at work, as a wall full of them, but we can't log in with... Are you telling me that I'm up on a screen at your office? That scares the crap out of me, my friend. I can't even imagine. Okay, now I got to really be careful what I say. So if I put this on the big screen, I couldn't comment. I see. Saraland life had no... Oh, Servalan had no honor. Yes, exactly. Or her life had no honor. Okay, fair enough. I'm watching this goon while I prep for tonight's show. Inspiration of what not to do, right? Exactly. What's the point of the not for kids toggle? Well, if I were to... all of my videos are set to not for kids. And that doesn't mean kids can't... it's not safe for kids. It means it's not specifically made for kids. If I was doing kid-specific, kid-targeted videos, you know, I don't know. I don't know what that would look like, but where kids are your primary audience, YouTube doesn't want to monetize that. You don't get ad dollars for it. At least I don't think you do. There cannot be any comments, so there's no engagement with the kids. Because rhymes with what you do with a broom, could be happening. Even between people talking on the responding to comments, even if I'm not personally engaging with the audience, it's kind of odd, and I just spilled on myself. The government is only censoring you for your own good. The good citizen does not complain. Yeah, exactly right. Because if this were really the land of the free, it would be do whatever you want, and if people like your content, it'll be rewarded, and if they don't, they won't watch you, and you will not make money, and you will go away anyway. Give the parents the power to decide what to watch, not to watch on YouTube. I agree. And parents, if you don't like what's on it, don't let your children watch it. Take control. Do the parenting thing. That AI could, in the future, be undermining in a danger to society and award an all expense paid trip to a mental institute. Yeah. We've talked about the whole make institutions great again. Well-intentioned, poorly thought out idea. From what he says, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers ran his channel with his phone for years when he started. You younger folks well, not you, Joe, but those younger folks like Jeremy and their phones, they know how to use that stuff better. I just haven't gotten into. That's very nice of you to say, Wade. I appreciate that. You got a taste of imposter syndrome when you saw her video. I know what that feels like. You've talked about imposter syndrome before, Sin. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. But please, I'm asking all of you as a personal favor, go to that video that I link below and give her a like and drop a comment and let her know that our community appreciates her and all the shout outs she's been giving us. And I'm sure that some of the growth that I've had on this channel has been because of her. And I would like everybody to go and at least say thank you and encourage her for that. Parents raising their own kids? What kind of insanity is that? I know, right? You know, I started getting into a bit of a back and forth with somebody on... Because why do I do this? I engage with these faceless morons online. When I said something about I can't remember if it was about withholding funds for PBS or if it was something about public schools, but I was like, you know, because all it is indoctrination and oh yeah, it was about schools teaching things they shouldn't be teaching. And they're like, well, how are they ever going to learn about this, that, and the other personal adult bedroom activities? I'm like, maybe from their parents when they're old enough. It is not the job of the schools. And then I saw that her channel was all just about communicating with kids, stuff that kids should not be communicated with by anyone outside of their families and trusted maybe spiritual leaders or possibly a doctor, you know, if necessary. You know, it rhymes with what you do with a broom, right? That is a whole can of whoop-ass subject on the subject of score and soundtrack. Yeah. That's true. But it's a fun one to have, I think, because both are good, or should be good if a movie's going to be overall good. The Rock, Believe It or Not. Is that a reference to the Ripley's Believe It or Not? It should be common sense, but the state is supreme nowadays. It tends to become that, if you look at history. Love the soundtrack from Mask of Zorro, yes. Dick Tracy, yes. How to Train Your Dragon? I don't think I know it well enough to have an opinion, Rosefire, but welcome, Rosefire. Thank you for being here. It's starting in the 80s, but a lot of movies have a score and a soundtrack. Yep, very much. Yeah, prior to that, you know, you got incidental music as well as the release songs. I'm thinking of, like, for example, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, right? And like the original Rocky soundtrack and so forth. I'm like Troy. I prefer to make my videos on my computer. Hate using my phone for that sort of stuff. Might be a generational thing, Sin. I'm starting to get that impression. So Jess, if you want to do stuff on your phone, it's possible, but unfortunately, I'm not the person to help you with that. gonna have to seek out your Gen Z peers for that kind of information. Yeah, Connie uses her phone and her computer. Forrest Gump would be a good example of a soundtrack versus score. Yes, you're right, and we just watched Forrest Gump recently on Netters Network. I saw the video. You are awesome, Troy. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I really, really do. Talk about self-censorship on Troy's part. Yeah, exactly. I do try to avoid the I try to improve my language. They used to say that, what is the saying? Profanity is a sign of low education or something like that, which I don't think is strictly true, but there does seem to be a correlation. Angel Studios has been hit or miss for me. I did not like The Shift, but films like The Sound of Freedom and Sketch are excellent. Okay, so I'm going to have to check out Sin's review of Sketch and then check out that movie. Joe says, Troy, which unmade movie you wish were made? For me, it's the Solo Batfleck movie. I love fight choreography and would have loved Batman versus Deathstroke hand to hand. Let's see. Unmade movies that I wish had been made. Let me get back to you on that, Joe. Let me think about that for a little bit. Making videos specifically for kids is very restrictive. No thanks. Yeah, exactly. Leia Plus Size, good to see you. Afternoon, Troy, stopping by on my lunch break to say hello and hear the discussion for the day. I really haven't even gotten into the discussion for the day. It's almost become a Tuesday talk kind of thing. And I will have to get to that shortly. Leia, if you just got here, I've been pitching a video that I've got linked in the description below. Another YouTuber said some incredibly nice things, very encouraging things about me, and I'm asking everybody to go check out the video, hit the like button, and leave her a comment. Let her know the impact she has on us. And with that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get to the promos so that I can refill my drink. And I'll be back. And when we get back, I'll try to get through the comments very quickly, but then we should probably get to this article that I wanted to talk about. Be back in just under 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Netters Network, join us for a very special celebration of the past 33 years. It's our wedding anniversary, this Thursday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, Demi Moore is Lieutenant Jordan, a topographic analyst who joins the U.S. Navy Special Warfare Group and struggles to prove her worth in a unit dominated by men. Failure is not an option for G.I. Jane. This week on Netters Network Retro Cinema, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Papa Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Callie is dead, a victim of Servalan's booby-trapped bequest of a planet. The Liberator has been destroyed. With Avon colder than ever, the crew must raise the will to fight on for their lives. Cue the enigmatic Dorian with an escape route off-terminal and the offer of friendship. The team needs a rescue. This Tuesday on Last Call presents Blake 7 at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
All right, let me get back to your comments here. Starting with Geek Flag with Nate Nose says, Troy, you should reach out to some adult beverage companies about sponsoring one or two episodes of your live streams. That money will go directly to you. I'm going to have to see if that's an option. That would be very, very interesting. I do understand that YouTube has an issue with adult beverage sponsorships, so I don't know if that's an option, but I will start investigating. Want to say hi to the Horror King. Welcome, my friend. As well as Maria and Telly. I really need lunch. There you go. Exactly. So I would, and I did see Tim Hayes in the chat too. Welcome. Again, all of you that are just joining us now, I've been saying throughout the stream, please check out that stream below. Go check it out. Hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed to this lovely lady, please do so. I cannot express enough how much her kind words in that video about me and this channel, and by extension all of you, encouraged me today, and I want everyone to go show her all the love. She says Gen Z wouldn't have these phone issues. It's a millennial problem for sure. Just on the cusp of the technological breakthrough, but not fully ingrained through the development years. That's fair. I have been completely left behind by... Well, here's the other problem, too. I don't care what you can do on your phone. They're too damn small for me to see anything. I'm just placed out of it. I'm too old for it, I guess. But as I was saying earlier in the stream, Jess... I almost called you Flo. As I was saying earlier in the stream, there's other people that are right here in the chat who are using phones for streaming. They would be great resources to reach out to. I am not. I don't know how to do the things on the phone. It's a challenge. So speaking of challenges, a lot of challenge for Disney with their MCU going forward. Let's get into this WTF a little bit before we wrap today, because this was meant to be the main topic. But I enjoy chatting with all of you so much. That's why I get distracted so easily. So let me bring this up. So Marvel's The Fantastic Four First Step stumbles with disappointing first Monday box office, lower than Superman, Quantumania, and Captain America Brave New World. For a movie to not do even as well as Quantumania is a bad sign by the numbers. So this comes to us from Marvin Montanaro over at That Park Place. This is, I am not even logged in to my pro account for That Park Place, so this is obviously an article you could easily just go and check out, and I would encourage you to do so. I get so much of my information on the entertainment industry from That Park Place. They call it That Park Place, but it's not just about the parks. Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps has hit a rough patch, with its first Monday box office numbers released unusually late on Tuesday, July 29, 2005. The film earned $10.4 million domestically, a figure that raises concerns for Marvel, especially when compared to recent superhero films and the studio's expectations for a strong rebound. This Monday haul falls short of DC Studios' Superman, which grossed $12.9 million in its first Monday, July 14th, 2005. More striking, it lags behind Marvel's 2023 underperformer Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. See, I was just saying that. Which pulled in $14.28 million on its first Monday. Even Captain America: Brave New World, considered a major commercial disappointment with an $88 million opening weekend, outperformed First Steps in its first Monday with $11.17 million. The late release of these numbers, among the last films to report for the day, suggests hesitation from the studio, possibly to downplay the underwhelming performance. First Steps opened to $117 million domestically and $216.7 million globally, trailing Superman's $125 million domestic and $220 million global debut. And one should note that those numbers are were changing throughout the weekend. Disney did try to put out some better estimates that ended up getting revised down, and other channels like Culture Casino, That Park Place, and WDW Pro, and I'm pretty sure Valiant Renegade as well, were talking about misreporting numbers to your stockholders is a bad thing. While the film was praised by some for its retro-futuristic style and strong ensemble, including Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss-Bacharach, and every time I think Bacharach, I think of the musician Burt Bacharach. Great music. Miss that guy. Its Monday drop signals potential trouble in sustaining audience interest. Analysts expect First Steps to leverage its 86% Rotten Tomato score, 64% criticless score. Yeah, see, I told you they had to start citing criticless, and that's what they're doing. An A- cinema score to reverse Marvel's recent theatrical struggles, following lackluster performances from Captain America: Brave New World and Thunderbolts. However, the Monday numbers suggest a front-loaded weekend with a projected second weekend decline of around 60%, potentially landing at $47 million domestically. That's not good. Several factors may explain the dip. The film faced direct competition from Superman, which retained strong audience interest, and its third weekend grossing $24.9 million. Accordingly, First Steps saw lower family attendance, particularly in suburb and rural markets. Yeah, because families have decided not to trust Disney anymore. It is no longer a go-to for families. They're concerned about your content and messaging. This demographics shortfall could limit its staying power despite premium format contributions like IMAX, from which account for 13.6% of the opening weekend. Marvel had high hopes for and this is where it gets important, folks. Marvel had high hopes for First Steps to kick off Phase 6 of the MCU and set up for Avengers Doomsday. The film's $200 million plus production budget, coupled with significant marketing costs, means it needs sustaining box office momentum to break even. While its global debut of $218 million is a franchise record for Fantastic Four, that's not a very high bar. The Monday figures cast doubts on its ability to match the longevity of top MCU performers, all of which crossed $300 million domestically after opening above $117 million. As Marvel looks ahead, the studio may need to release its reassess its strategy to gain audience trust after a string of inconsistent releases. First Step's box office trajectory suggests Marvel's First Family still faces an uphill battle to reclaim the MCU's former glory. Well, my concern for them is if this is going to be your your stinger, your hook for Doomsday, you might have wanted there to be something more in it that alluded to the next story, besides a goofy mid-credit shot of Doctor Doom from behind, without his mask, not showing who he is because it wasn't Robert Downey Jr. There's no story anticipation there. It doesn't really doesn't speak. I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to your comments. Show all, and I got to get back to where we were because my screen just went to the top of the chat. Like I said, Tim Hayes, welcome. Good to see you. And Sin's review for Sketch is still in editing. That's fair. That's fair. Let's see. Oh, here we got Wilkie's Movies and Music, another great channel for film reviews and commentary. He likes to hang out with Sin and with deleted scenes and those people from whom I get a lot of my recommendations for films and so forth. Did I say hi to Lester San Jose? I thought I brought up one of your comments earlier, but if I didn't, I'm sorry. Welcome, welcome. I was surprisingly not disappointed with Fantastic Four. Yeah, when you go in with really low expectations, you have a tendency to, be pleasantly surprised if there's anything good in it. Nothing that came from the MCU this year was good. That includes Fantastic Four. Yep, see? That kind of tells you the split on it. I don't care. It could have been the best thing since sliced bread. The studio basically gave the fans the middle finger by teasing us with the fan casting of John Krasinski and then saying, nope, you don't get him. You get Pedro Pascal. We know what you want. You can't have it. Well, I know what you want, and that's my money, and you can't have it. That's just all there is to it. I refuse to keep giving my money to people that hate me. Period. Period. I don't care how shiny it is. I don't care how good the popcorn is. You don't get it. You just don't. But it's not just production costs, is it? Rewriting and reshooting, marketing. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, Rosefire, for steering me back to the topic at hand. Culture Casino has a great video up this morning exactly about this. It's all the things that we've been talking about for so long. The budgets for these films, and when they announce the budgets, that's like when you write a budget, right? I intend my budget to be this, but then the breaks have to be done, and I wasn't accounting for that, and a tree fell on my house, and I have to have that repaired, and I had to go to the doctor this week, so it completely blew my budget. Well, every single movie is like that. They budget what they expect to spend, and then they always go over it. And they don't just go over by a little bit. You know, they spend enough money to make 3 and 4 movies for the budget that they end up spending on the one. And they can never make that back. Why are they doing that? Because the people that are deciding how much money to spend are spending like, I'm sorry, they're spending like socialists. They're spending like commies. It's not my money. It's free money. So I'm, just going to keep going back to the well all that I want, like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. And the studio needs to step in and say, we're not seeing the return on investment here. You know, they're starting to do that, though. They are starting to do that, though, and starting to put the restrictions on them. But it used to be that you had a budget and you needed to stay under it. And if you went over it, you started to do this. Right? Because, I mean, it's why things went the way they did with Superman 1 and 2, and why Richard Donner got fired and we ended up with Mankiewicz in his place, because he went so far over budget. You've got to make intelligent budgets that are realistic. If you can't do a movie for this amount of money, then you don't go to the studio and say, I need this much to make that movie. What you should do is know in advance how much you're going to spend and say, here's a breakdown of why I need this and why it will pay off. The whole business end is gone from the planning and the thinking. And then what they do is they don't even know their audience. They don't know what the audience wants, despite us constantly shouting at them on social media for free. It used to be studios would do test markets to see what people wanted, and they'd spend lots of money to do it, to get that information. It was valuable to them. Now we're giving it to them for free, and they're not paying attention. They make the movie they want to make, and then they show it to a test audience that hates it, and then they go back to square one and reshoot from the beginning. That is a waste of money. They could have made 3 movies for the amount of money that it costs to make these movies that are underperforming and not making their budgets back. On the other hand, we have John Campea saying Superman doesn't need to break even. It's blatant shilling. What kind of nonsense is this? Well, let me explain that to you, Joe. This is something that I had said too. It has to do with the philosophy of rebooting their cinematic universe, right? They made it very clear that Superman was going to be the cornerstone for the Gunverse going forward. So there's also the aspect that, and this gets back to the whole, I guess we got to call it the Mel Brooks concept, right? From Spaceballs, right? Merchandising, where all the real money for the movie is made. There's a lot of truth in that. It's funny because it's true. Star Wars did phenomenally well at the box office, but it made a jillion times more money on marketing. The toys, the t-shirts, the lunchboxes, all of that stuff. Nowadays, the kitchenware for some reason. Anyway, licensing, which makes a ton of money. And Marvel is making almost no money on these movies from marketing. Nobody is going out and buying. I mean, Tom Connors went and bought the Pop-Tarts, but that was more because he liked the Pop-Tarts than he wanted a, Fantastic Four Pop-Tart, But nobody's buying the toys except diehard Hasbro shills. Superman, on the other hand, the marketing is doing really, really well. And people are buying the things and do want to see it do well. If it ends up being a big launch pad for a successful series of movies, then whether the first movie, made huge bank or not is irrelevant. That they mean when they say that. But yes, being profitable is a good thing. So maybe spend less money on the front end. Do better stories. Rely on your story to bring the audience in, not the glitz and the glamour and paying stars, Remember, nobody knew who Christopher Reeve was when he signed on to play Superman. Same thing with Corn Sweat, let's be honest. So they did probably keep their budget down. I think they blew it out with Nathan Fillion. I think they spent more money on Guy Gardner than they really needed to. Yeah, my nephew saw Fantastic Four the other night and says the only good thing about the movie that's better than the other Fantastic Four movies from 2007 was Galactus. That's it. Yeah, well, and that wasn't a high bar, right? Because the Galactus in that one was a big fart cloud, you know? I mean, anyway. The shared universe needs to go away, yeah. People viewing it. We've talked about this. Somehow the shared universe was so much better when it was a shared universe only because of Easter eggs and line drops. When Batman, in one of the Schumacher films, says the circus is probably halfway to Metropolis by now. Well, now you know that Superman and Batman are in the same universe. Not necessarily any specific Batman. Doesn't mean it's specifically Christopher Reeve or it's specifically Brandon Routh or Henry Cavill. But Superman, as a character, exists in the Batman universe. They're just not in the same town and they don't really cross over. That's how it should be if you're going to have a shared universe. And then every now and again, if you want to have a crossover, you do it. Really, the blueprint is in the comics, which was reflected in the original shared universe of Marvel, right? Where you had all these separate standalone superhero movies that did not depend on each other, did not depend on what they were building on. They stood on their own. And they had acknowledgments that they were all heroes that were possibly going to join this Avengers. And a little bit what the Avengers might deal with. Then they had a couple movies that were about that big story where they all came together and then they split off to do their own movies again. That would be fine if they did that. I'm getting tired of them front loading with that goal. You know, you need a strong foundation and strong walls before you build, you know, the penthouse, right? And they're trying to build the roof and the penthouse before they even lay the foundation. Fantastic Four has no legs and no one, and that's exactly what I was just pointing out in the numbers. I mean, that bears out. You can't argue with the numbers. There may be a huge change if, you know, a bunch of people suddenly decide, oh, I missed it the first week. I really, really wanted to see that movie. But they're not. Because there's no incentive to do that. If you missed it the first week, you look and you go, you know what? This is going to be on streaming soon anyway. I'll wait. They've really shot them. That's the other area where they've really shot themselves in the foot is all the streaming stuff. Creepy marketing. Yeah, you know what? Let me real quick before we go. I know we're starting to run over time here, but let me go to this article. I'm not even going to pull up the article. I'm just going to bring up the headline. Pedro Pascal appears to high-five Fantastic Four co-star over idea of throwing President Trump into space. That's bad marketing. That's a great way to immediately turn off more than half of your audience. Look, I don't care where you are politically. I don't care who you voted for or who you would vote for if you're here in the United States. Just understand that the current president won by popular vote. He got more than 50% of the vote in the country. So potentially more than half of your audience, potential audience, voted for the guy that you want to space. There's nothing like pissing off an audience to drive them away. This is what I said. I will not be seeing Fantastic Four because they literally gave me the middle finger by casting Pedro Pascal in the first place over the person that they teased in WandaVision and the Multiverse of Madness. It was a Wanda movie. It wasn't a Doctor Strange movie. Let's be clear about that. But yeah, this kind of marketing is exactly why the studio system is basically failing. It really is. Guys, I'm going to wrap this up here. I think I got my WTFs out sufficiently. I'm sorry I didn't get to all of your comments today. you guys are talking about Camp. Yeah, I don't even know Camp. I don't really watch him, so I have nothing intelligent to say about him. Outlaw Bill, thanks so much for stopping in last minute. You are wonderful. She writes it out so that I can see. Fluff Chick Production. Troy, can you read? Yes, I can read. Thank you very much for stopping in. Please, everybody, as I said before, check out the link for Flow with Jess's video from today that posted this morning. Please go check it out. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Let her know you were here. Let her know that I sent you. I mean, she's going to know that I sent you because she heard me saying it in this video. But she encouraged me so much. I want to do what I can to encourage her. One last thing before we go. I'm going to share my screen again. You'll notice up here, while I've been doing this stream, I have had her video playing in the background. I have a playlist of her entire timeline that's just been going. It's just been going to give her watch time. Now I'm going to get hit with a copyright claim from her channel. That's just wonderful. No good deed, right? But anyway, I thank every one of you guys for coming and hanging out with me and making me feel a little bit better, even though I was feeling a bit under the weather today. Hanging out with you always makes my day so much better. I am going to get back to editing because I definitely have editing that I need to get done. And today's my edit day because I don't have a stream tonight. And I even don't have a D&D game tonight because one of the blokes is going to Gen Con for some reason. He's caught in that rut. He just keeps going to Gen Con. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how much he complains afterwards. But so no D&D game tonight, so I have time to get my editing done. Guys, I want to thank you all so much. I guess I'm a professional. At least a lot of people keep calling me that. Even though, you know, there's some streamers out there saying that people like the Critical Drinker aren't a professional because they don't have certifications and bona fides. And they're not part of the mainstream. Sorry, things are changing, and people with a voice are becoming the voices of the future. So guys, thank you so much. I hope to see you all tomorrow when we just talk about what we're thankful for. And I squeezed in some thankfulness today. Squeeze some gratitude into every day if you can. It makes your day that much better. And tomorrow night, I hope you'll come and celebrate with Netta and I over on her channel as we celebrate 33 years of, well, for me, marital bliss. For her, 33 years of putting up with this goober. Anyway, thank you guys so much. You take care. I'll see you all on the next one.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.